All right, so we have Unit 3, Lesson 3 warm-up. All right, use positive exponents. So what do we got here? We can't do anything in the parentheses. We want to distribute 1 to the negative 1, 4 to the negative 1, x to the negative 1. I don't know why I put the 1 in parentheses. Out of habit, I guess. It's the same as flipping the whole thing. Anything that's multiplied, anything that has an exponent of a negative 1, everything gets flipped. So you can write it all out like this is the long way. You don't have to do it this way. But the 4 has to come up, the x has to come up, and the 1 has to come down. So really, that's all that is. Okay? The book says to just memorize the fact that when it's raised to a negative 1, everything inside the parentheses gets flipped. So this is 4x over 1, okay, but we write that as 4x. This one's not the same. Notice the difference between these. Which term, the 4 is really to the 1 power, the x is to the negative 1 power. So the 4 stays where it is, and the x has to come up. And putting a 1 in front just looks weird, so the final answer is just x4. Okay. This one, they're both negative, so they both have to be moved. And anything to the 0 power is 1. This one, we need to do this first, because that has this one's raised to the 2nd power, so that means we don't do anything with this one. I'm not going to write the y over again because it was just a 1. 7 to the 2nd power is 49. X to the 2nd power, that was a 1 there, that was a 1 there, right? Y to the negative 8, because we're multiplying, and then z to the 6. All right, and then let's see, multiply these two together. So 49 comes in front because that's kind of 1 times 49 is 49. X to the negative 2 plus a positive 2 is x to the 0. So the x's actually disappear. Then we had a y to the negative 8 that nothing happens to. And then this is a z of 1 and a z of 6. So we have a z of 7. So our final answer is 49, z7, and then the y has to come down here to get the negative off. Okay. This one has a lot going on in the parentheses. Let's reduce. So this is x to the 1st minus 1 is x to the 0. So the x's go away, right? X over x equals 1. So they go away. Then we have y to the negative 7 minus 1, right? There's a 1 right here and a 1 right here. So that's a y to the negative 8. So they're on the bottom. Because it's a negative 8, I'm putting it on the bottom. Okay, if I put it on the top, it would have to stay a negative, so I just want to go ahead and put it on the bottom. And then z to the 4th minus 1 is z to the 3rd. Positive z to the 3rd means it goes here, and then the whole thing is squared. So this is final answer would be z to the 6th and y to the 16th because we're multiplying. Okay. Divide, keep an exponential form. When using base 10, negative exponents are acceptable. That's the one exception, all right, when the base is 10. So these, notice these are base 10, okay? So this is really 10 to the 2 minus a minus 2. We treat it just like anything else. So that's one a big plus, so that it ends up being 10 to the 4th power. Positive 4, okay? This is 10 to the negative 4 minus a minus 5. That is negative 4 plus 5, so that is 10 to the 1st power, right? Or 10. Right. So some people don't do things this way. Okay. They just move things. They don't do the math. They just say, okay, that's negative, so we're just going to move this one up here, and that gives me a positive the fourth. They're both negative, so we're just going to switch them. And you're gonna, if you do it that way, you're just going to be 5 up here, 4 down here, which still results in a 10. Okay, so people do things different ways. Sometimes this switching thing works for people, and sometimes it really confuses them, and sometimes they're just not great at the math, so they like just moving things instead. That is a personal choice. Okay, 10 to the negative 6 minus 10 is 10 to the negative 16, which means what? That means it's on the bottom. Or people take this and move it down. That makes it 6 and 10 is 6. Ooh, I didn't mean to put the negative in there. Hang on. Whatever, 10 to the whole point was to make that a positive. Okay? Yes, you can just take this and move it down, then add them together. Same thing. Okay? I don't want to start doing everything 2 different ways, but these are so simple, I think you could do them either way and understand there are 2 ways to do them. Okay? This one, there's no negatives. We're just doing what? 10 to 46 minus 10 is 36. Not sure why that one's in there. Okay? So these are the ways to do this. This is the answer here. Okay. Round to the nearest, simplify and round to the nearest fraction. I need to get my calculator out. Hang on. All right. For scientific notation, we are going to working with some decimals. So 1.4 divided by 4.5 is 0.1 repeating. All right, then it says round to the nearest thousandth. Let's go over our places again. When I say repeating, there's a lot of ones in here, right? So this is what? This is, oops. This is the 10th place. This is the 100th place. That right there is the 1000th place. Okay, so 0.311. You can have the 0 in front or not have the 0 in front. It's up to you. Just make sure that your dot's really big and kind of exaggerated if you don't have a 0, so I can see it. Okay. All right. What is in your calculator? What is 4.789 times 7? 33.523. It stops itself at the thousandth place. All right. How about 6.17123 times 3.003? 18.532 and a bunch of other numbers, but they're small. Okay, so to the thousandth place is there. And what is 5.12 divided by 1.301? Is 3 point a bunch of stuff rounded to here. We look at the 4. What's our rounding rules? We look at the 4, and if it's what's the saying? 5 and up, 5 and above, raise it up. 4 and below, let it go. So 3.935 is our answer for that one. All right, this one says keep in exponential form. So this is 10 to the 2 plus a 7 equals 10 to the 9. 10 to the negative 12 plus 13 equals 10 to the 1 or 10. 10 to the negative 3 plus 3 equals 10 to the 0, which is a 1. So it's not even a 10 anymore. Okay? That's it.